Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. It's Wrestling Uncensored. Tonight, we are previewing AEW's Double or Nothing coming up this weekend in Las Vegas. We're recapping tonight's episode of SmackDown and everything else, WWE and AEW. It's Wrestling Uncensored. Johnny North is here. I'm here. I'm ready. Are you ready? I said, are you ready? Then, for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, let's get ready to suck it! Hi, John.
Yo.
I said, are you ready?
My least favorite intro to any group ever.
Really?
Oh, I didn't like DX at all, whatsoever. Any incarnation of DX.
What? You didn't like any
Yeah,
DX?
No,
Wow.
I didn't.
You didn't like Triple H, Road Dogg, Badass Gun, X-Pac, and China DX even? That was fun.
No, I hated them. I loved the Nation, though. Nation was great.
I love the Nation, too, but I like DX. DX was cool. The Invasion, the WCW Invasion, you didn't like that? That was cool.
It was lame.
Oh, what?
Nothing happened.
I don't know. It was cool at the time. I thought it was pretty cool. I'm surprised. I like DX. I even like Shawn and Triple H and China, original DX. I thought they were a great group. The stuff with Sergeant Slaughter, that was great.
No, ruined wrestling in a lot of ways, but
Wow.
that's just my opinion.
I don't know. I didn't like See, Ryan Katz is like, nothing beats the DX McMahon parody. I didn't like any of that. I thought the Shawn who'd found Jesus, who's like in DX, but he doesn't want to do DX style stuff. That was weak. The reformed Shawn Michaels in DX and like the Triple H corporate DX. I thought that was terrible. I hated that. I'll agree with you there. That was trash. But the real DX, I thought that was pretty good. But that's okay, John. That's okay. We're not here to talk about the past. We're here to talk about the future. We're here to preview AEW's Double or Nothing. You see Rampage tonight? Blast from the past. Gangrel on Rampage with the Young Bucks. Young Bucks dressing up like the Hardys. They even had Gangrel accompany them to the ring. I liked Brandon Cutler dressing up as Lita, complete with the thong sticking out from his pants. Thought that was great.
I wouldn't say great, but it was nice that they did a lot of parodies of that. Like they did like little things too. I don't know if you caught, like, I think it was Matt Jackson did the whole like Matt Hardy falling over the ropes like he did on Velocity one time.
I don't know. I missed it. I was half paying attention to the match because it was a jobber match, and I was eating dinner at the time. You can't have Rampage on at 6:30 at night. It's ridiculous.
I'm actually happy it's on, so we're not watching it right now because we wouldn't be paying attention to it that well. So I'm kind of happy we got it through. And I thought Rampage was actually kind of decent. Rampage should always be live. Those are the best episodes.
Yeah. I forgot it was on, though. It was too early. 6:30? I forgot it was on, so I missed the Bryan Danielson Matt Sydal match, which I'm sure was the best match that any company had tonight. I didn't even see it, but I'm sure it was the best. Because Bryan.
I thought it was all right. I really liked the main event, though, tonight. I thought Statlander, Ruby Soho, I thought that was a pretty good match.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It was all right. You thought that was better than the Bryan match, which I didn't see. So, I mean, okay, but...
Well, you just have to look at the scale that, AEW women's match is not usually the best. This was, like, by far a really good match. And for AEW women's division, that means it was fantastic. This is, like, one of the best women's matches they've had.
Okay. So you're kind of grading them on a scale here, John. It's not really equal, right?
Well, I don't think you can say it's fair whatsoever. I mean, the talent level, it's not fair whatsoever.
Well, so it's not their fault. It's not Bryan Danielson's fault that he's way better than everybody else. If he has the best match, he has the best match. He's Bryan Danielson.
I don't suppose you caught Danielson training Jade, like that
I
video
did.
that popped up.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah. She's got a pretty good teacher.
Well, you'll see. Like, she'll get better. Like, I'm not worried about her now.
Two of my favorites together, John. I love it. Bryan and Jade, they're the two best. Best in the women's division, getting trained by the best in the men's division. Very good
She
stuff.
isn't the weakest match, though, on the pay-per-view. It's the weakest match on the show. No
yeah,
question.
let's get right into AEW's Double or Nothing here. We'll get into SmackDown and everything happening in the WWE. I want to talk to you a little bit about Raw. I haven't covered Raw this week. I did a Dynamite post-show on Wednesday, so if you missed that, you can go check it out right now on the Ringside Report Network. I do want to talk about Raw and that stinker that Cody and Miz had and how they're just watering Cody down every week to the point where now I don't even know if you could bring him back from that match, but
there were worse parts of the show than that. That wasn't the worst part of the show.
Of Raw? No, but I mean, Cody, that was Cody's worst match since coming to WWE, right? It was pretty bad.
Yeah, but I mean,
it's pretty bad.
On a show like that, though, it actually seemed like that was probably the best thing we saw on Raw, to be honest.
Yeah, well,
look
Raw,
back on Raw.
Yeah,
Raw was rough this week. It was a rough Raw.
Raw was not good. SmackDown was not good either. I think AEW had
a better than Raw.
Yeah, but I think AEW had a better week of TV. I thought Dynamite and Rampage were better than SmackDown and Raw.
Well, I think it helps coming with the pay-per-view. I think they have a lot of hype going into that. So you see a lot of things coming to an end right now. So I think it kind of helps. Where WWE, it feels like they're trying to put together Hell in a Cell after the whole Sasha Naomi thing. Now they have to really scramble and put this card together. They're not good when they're actually planning stuff because things are already scrambled. Now they're even more messed up. So this doesn't help them whatsoever.
I mean, you'd think they'd be used to it, right? Plans are changing constantly. So why would they be thrown off by this? Things are always changing. And man, they
actually had a set plan.
Yeah, I mean, it was a set plan, but I mean, come on. Things could change, and injuries happen in wrestling. Things happen all the time. You got to be able to adapt on the fly, and the WWE is trying their best. I think the match that they wound up with, Becky, Asuka, Bianca in a triple threat, is better than, what were they going to do, Naomi and Bianca? Like, come on, Naomi and Bianca? Right. Nobody's buying that.
But we talked about this before. Like, we thought this triple threat was something we were going to get at, like, a stadium show, Money in the Bank, or SummerSlam. We felt like that was the end game, but it feels like now they're kind of screwed and they have to go with this now instead. And maybe it'll probably be Becky, Bianca, or something else instead, like a Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank, which got a big downgrade this week, which we'll get to. I want to get to Double or Nothing here, John. I said I wanted to get to it, and we are getting to it. Jade Cargill, Anna Jay. Let's start with that. It's happening for the TBS title. It is one of the weaker matches on this show. I did catch that Jade Cargill profile that Complex did, which I thought was pretty cool to profile Jade Cargill. She's an up-and-coming star in AEW. She's got an incredible look. She's improving every time she steps into the ring. She's got a great presence. She can cut a promo. She's got a character. She's got a gimmick. She's got the baddies. She's got the belt. And Anna Jay, here are some things that Anna Jay is missing. Like,
oh boy.
All right. I'm going to be nice here, John. Okay, I'm not going to say everything that she's missing, but she's missing presence and promo and character. When Anna Jay steps on the screen, it doesn't, like, she doesn't capture you. There's not, she doesn't say anything. When she starts talking, you don't want to stick around. When Jade Cargill starts talking, there's like an attitude, and you're like, whoa, what is going on here? There's more to Jade Cargill. There's more of a presence. I mean, her look is something else, right? She doesn't look like anybody else, Jade Cargill. Anna Jay, she looks great. She's, a good-looking lady, but
yeah,
that doesn't really set her apart in professional wrestling. There's a lot of beautiful women in professional wrestling that have good physiques, but not like jacked like Jade. Like for pro wrestling, Anna Jay is kind of basic. She's good looking. She's not really great in the ring, and there's really no promo there. And that's really, Jade isn't great in the ring either. She's as green as Anna Jay, but there's more of a presence. There's more of a character. You understand who Jade Cargill is. She's big. She's mean. She's rich. She's got the baddies. Anna Jay was with the Dark Order, kind of. Then with Ty Conti, kind of. Then Ty Conti went with Sammy Guevara, and I guess she's not friends with Anna Jay anymore. I don't even know what happened to that relationship. Anna Jay is not a clearly defined character, and some of that is her fault, and some of that is AEW's fault. But don't tell me that anybody thinks Anna Jay is going to win this match, because, come on. That bitch show, TBS. The champion, Jade Cargill, will retain. I like Anna Jay, but she's got to find who she is as a performer. Jade knows who she is. You know what I mean? Like, she may not be great in the ring, but she's confident, and that confidence makes up for her greenness in the ring. Anna Jay doesn't seem confident. She doesn't buy into her own character. Like Jade commits to being Jade because she is Jade. Like, that's who she is. The character and who she is, it's pretty much the same. Anna Jay is like, there's nothing there. She's got to figure out who she is. She's going to lose.
Well, this would be, I think without question, this is the lock of the night. I don't think there's any question about that in terms of like guaranteed victories. Like, I feel Jade, without question, should be the heaviest favorite on the show because I don't see Anna Jay winning whatsoever. I mean, we've already done this already too. It's a rematch. It kind of just goes to show you they don't have too many top competitors for Jade to wrestle at this point. Like, Tony Storm just came in. It's too early for that. And everyone else was stuck in a tournament, so there was really no way to push anyone else in this situation. And Anna Jay, like, the only thing really going for is the fact that she's, like, homegrown AEW talent. And you could tell, like, from the start, even if she wasn't the best, like, they were going to push her. They tried. Like, wasn't she some sort of magician at first or something? I don't know, whatever the hell that was. And then the Dark Order happened.
Yeah.
And I guess she's still doing that, but it's kind of not really highlighted whatsoever.
What happened to her and Ty Conti? Weren't they a team?
Yeah, and I guess they're still friends, but I guess they're just not teaming together. Anna Jay apparently has random teammates now, and her storyline is that she's learning from everybody that she teams with. And now she's gotten better. That's her storyline. It's weak, but that's all they have. And I get it. And hopefully she has gotten better. Hopefully this will be a better match, but I'm not expecting much. I think we're all expecting this is a match you place in between like one of the big matches, like the Anarchy in the Arena. Something like, it's to let the crowd like kind of just die down a little bit and like relax because what they just saw was kind of crazy. Like, I'll be surprised if this goes more than, it shouldn't go more than 5 minutes, but probably go 10. But for them, that'll be a short match.
Yeah, I'm hoping for the best. I'm always rooting for Jade. I think she's got a tremendous potential, and if she can be, a better wrestler and continue to improve, she's going to be a huge star in pro wrestling. So I hope she does really well, and I hope Anna Jay does well too. I'm a fan of both. I just think Jade has come way further along than Anna Jay at this point. Hook and Danhausen taking on Tony Nese and Smart Mark Sterling in a tag team match on the pre-show. I will admit, John, I was not fully sold on Danhausen when he came in, but the more I see of Hook and Danhausen interacting, the more I'm amused by it. There's something about Danhausen that amuses me. Yeah. I don't know why.
Okay.
I know I shouldn't like it. I should think it's kind of dumb, and it is kind of dumb. But, you know, like, he came into his first match and he lost so quickly. Like, I don't know. It's kind of funny. It's kind of funny. His relationship with Hook is kind of funny. It's like a sideshow. It's nowhere near the main event of AEW. It's just a thing that happens. And of all the things that happen in AEW, a lot of them are kind of boring. And a lot of them are just weird, you know, and they don't make sense. At least the Hook and Danhausen thing I can kind of buy. I'm kind of enjoying this tag team, Hookhausen. So I think they probably win. And, yeah, I don't know. Like it or be cursed, Johnny North. Like it or be cursed.
Yeah, well, we've seen how effective his curses have been so far, Danhausen, but...
I like the way he talks.
Yeah.
He's got that funny voice. You don't like his funny voice?
The character is fine. It's just
It's
as
funny.
a wrestler, though.
Yeah.
Like, the Tony Nese match made a lot of sense. Like, just destroy him in, like, 30 seconds. That made sense to me. I'm like, yeah, that's the right way to do it. Tony Nese is an athlete. It makes sense.
Yeah.
However, in this match, though, it's not just Tony Nese. It's his manager. So that guy's more out of place in this match. And obviously, he's taking the fall in this one. So, yeah, of course, Hookhausen's going to win.
Yeah, Hook will probably get the win, too. Hook has not lost in AEW, right?
He's not going to lose now. Not in this pre-show match.
Hook doesn't speak, right? He's like the silent Bob of AEW.
No, he's said a couple of words here and there.
Has he?
I guess Bob said a couple of words here and there too, but
Yeah.
he said a couple of things.
Some of the kids may have to Google who Silent Bob is. Right?
They had a comeback movie a while back. It's not that old.
I don't know. I don't know, John. I think some of our references are starting to get dated. That's what's happening to us, man. We're getting old. Our references are old. People don't know. What else is on this card? House of Black.
10 other matches.
I know. There's so many matches. They added one tonight, too. Like, Darby Allin's like, hey, I don't have a match. How about I wrestle Kyle O'Reilly? I'm like, why? Why? Unnecessary.
Well, did you hear what Tony Khan said? Apparently because, I guess, Game 7 is going to happen in the NBA Eastern Conference Finals. And I think the NHL as well might go to Game 7. So they're like, well, so people don't miss the main event, we'll have to make the pay-per-view longer now.
What?
So, yeah, that was the thinking on this one, apparently. Because I guess they're going to be on at like 11, I guess, near the end for the NBA and the NHL games. As long as they don't go to overtime. So as long as people don't miss the main event, which will probably come on like what, like midnight, 12:30, possibly.
Fuck off.
Well,
On a
this card, I'm not
Sunday?
surprised.
On a Sunday? It's a school
Well,
night, Tony Khan. Don't you have children? What's the matter with you? I'm actually
They have
seriously
no
pissed off.
AEW.
I'm actually very mad about that. That makes me so mad.
It's actually a holiday in the States, so that's the way they look at it.
Yeah, well, what about us Canadians, you motherfucker, Tony Khan? We're not all on Adderall, all up all night. You fucking bug-eyed little twerp fucking guy.
No one's saying anything about that. Dave's just doing that for humor. That's it.
Yeah, I'm not saying that Tony Khan's on Adderall. I'm just saying that some people are on Adderall and are up all night with their bug eyes. I'm not saying Tony Khan is. I'm just saying that some people do that. And that is maybe how they stay up to watch AEW Double or Nothing. AEW, big pile of nothing. So, god damn it. How does that make any sense? You're buying the pay-per-view, right? You're paying money for this show? Right?
Yeah.
Correct.
I have already, yeah.
Right? So you pay money for the show. And this show that you're paying money for, you're going to stop watching to watch semi-final playoff hockey? or basketball, semifinals, not even the finals, a semifinal match in basketball that you may or may not give a shit about, you're going to stop the show that you're paying for. You're going to stop watching the show that you're paying for to watch free basketball, and that's why Tony Khan is making the show later, so basketball fans don't miss the main event? What about wrestling fans being able to stomach a 13, 14-match wrestling card, dude? Who wants to watch these long, stupid shows? It's stupid. Honestly. Like, wrestling promoters need to figure out that they're giving us too much wrestling and we don't want it. We would like there to be less. Whatever happened to leave them wanting more? Have they never heard of that expression? It seems pretty basic. Don't give us too much. You ever heard of quality over quantity, Tony Khan, or Vince McMahon? Or pro wrestling in general, for that matter? Stop giving us too much wrestling. We don't want it. We want some wrestling. I am starting to dislike pro wrestling because there's too much of it. Because when I watch pro wrestling, 80% of it is skippable. But 20% of it I really like. You know? Like, most of it is like, ugh, come on. But then there's like the bits and pieces where I'm like, oh, this is pretty good. I like this. This is very good. I'm invested here. Like, I want to see Punk and Hangman. Yes, I'm invested. Was the promo on Dynamite weird? Of course it was. It was very weird. But I'm invested. But I don't need to sit through all these other matches on this card, quite frankly. It's too much. It's too much wrestling. And the fact that Tony Khan wants to push this show to make it longer so that we can watch hockey or basketball instead of the show we're paying for, the wrestling show, is crazy to me. Fuck, man. I don't want this in my life. Harold Schneider dropping a super chat. He says, I think it's to keep TBS TNT happy they carry both playoffs. Yeah, well, fine. Keep the network happy. Do whatever you have to do. But what about the fans? Because I have never heard a wrestling fan say, you know what I love? 5-hour pay-per-views. Every wrestling fan across the board, anywhere that you talk to, they all say the same thing. 3 hours is enough for a wrestling pay-per-view. Keep it at 3 hours. Don't give us more than that. Yet these wrestling companies insist on giving us 4, 5, 6-hour pay-per-views. Tonight, extravaganza, stupendous. It's too much goddamn wrestling. And that's what's killing the wrestling business. It's not, bad booking or exposing the business, death of kayfabe, any of that. There's too much. And nobody in their right mind can follow all of it. And nobody that has a life wants to watch all of it. It's crazy. It's way too much wrestling. Like, it's enough already with the wrestling. You know? UFC gets it right. They do one show a week, if that. And it's easy.
No show this week.
No show this weekend. It's like, oh, okay, well. And you know what? There's no show this Saturday. I'm so used to the UFC giving me a fight night every Saturday that when there's no fight night on a Saturday, I'm like, God damn, man, where's my UFC? I want to watch the UFC tonight. Right? Because I get it once a week. I'm used to it. I love it. And I want to watch it every week. And when it's not on, I'm like, damn, man. What's on next week? Oh, Volkov and Jairzinho. Oh, pay-per-views in 2 weeks. That'll be good. If pro wrestling was on once a week, I think they would have way more fans. They'd probably make less money overall, advertising and everything, but I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking about how I feel. Yeah, less wrestlers making money, but you know what? Have you seen some of these wrestlers that are making money in professional wrestling? Maybe there should be less wrestlers. Some of these wrestlers are jabronis, Some of these guys and ladies don't deserve to be on television. But because there's so many hours to fill, well, you got to give somebody a job. So we're stuck with jabronis. People with no talent, no charisma, no muscles. Sorry, John, I got mad. I can't believe Tony Khan is doing that. Extending the pay-per-view so that we can watch basketball during the pay-per-view. I mean, I watched the 9th inning of the Yankee game. I was flipping back and forth, actually, tonight between the Yankees and SmackDown. I'll be fully honest, because it's the Yankees. And they beat Tampa tonight. Best team in baseball, New York Yankees. And that's not just me saying it. That's the record. Best team in baseball. 2-0.
I heard the Mets are doing good too, though.
Not as good as the Yankees. That's a fact. Jack.
Okay. Well, it'd be World Series anyways, which would be fun. 2000
would be
over
fun.
again.
Yep, that would be fun. I hope we see it. But yeah, it's too much, right? It's too much wrestling, man. Like, I want to be looking forward to this pay-per-view on Sunday, but I'm not, because I'm dreading how long it's going to be. It's going to start at like 8 and end at 12:30, 1 a.m. or something. It's ridiculous. Who wants to sit through 4 hours? Technically 7, right, with the pre-show. 4-5 hours of a pro wrestling show? Like, I don't know who wants to sit through that. It's hard to sit through.
And the post show will probably be on at 1 in the morning, more than likely, the way this is going, I think.
Ah, man. I might have to skip the post show.
Well, we'll talk about it one day, I'm sure.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I mean, we'll do the post show and everything. We'll do the post show on Sunday, but I'm not going to be happy about it, and I'll be barely awake. I'm up at like 6 a.m. on a Monday morning. You think I want to be doing a post show at 1? Fuck out of here. I got kids, baby. I got to wake up. People got to go to school. Things have to happen. Breakfast has to be made. Daddy's got shit to do. I don't have time to sit around and watch men in their underwear all night. Especially when it's on like 6 times a week. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it was the only wrestling on this week, I'd be like, oh, cool, wrestling on Sunday. That'll be fun. I'll get to watch some wrestling. But I've been watching wrestling all week, man. Raw, Dynamite, SmackDown, Rampage. It never ends. There's a pay-per-view. It's like, man, I'm good, you know? I don't really need it. I don't know who is, like, invested in watching each and every one of these shows. Because, to me, it's just overkill. And they're not doing enough good stuff to make it worthwhile. This pay-per-view better deliver. Like, they better have some kick-ass matches. But I'm not optimistic. House of Black, Malachi Black, Buddy Black, Brody Black versus the Death Triangle. Pac Triangle, Penta Triangle, Ray Death. The Blacks versus the Death. Who wins? Who wins? These guys are still feuding. This has been going on forever. And
yeah,
like, Pac is the worst AEW superstar because I never know if he actually wrestles for the company or not. He shows up 1 week, he disappears for a month, and then he shows back up. We're supposed to care. And he cuts these weird promos, and he's angry. And he's always feuding with Malachi Black. The guy took his eye out like a year ago, and he's still mad about it. Pac, like, goes to England and comes back, right? That's why he lives in England, and he doesn't really
That's right.
stick around. Yeah, well, what the hell? How does that work for a TV character?
Well, you notice his position on the card. It's not very high on the card. I mean, he's there. I mean, you can't deny his talent and ability.
Yeah, he's amazing.
I would say in terms of in the ring, he's one of the best in the world. There's no question.
Uh-huh.
But that's it. You can't push him that hard, though, because, yeah, he's not always there.
I mean, all 6 of these guys, they're good in the ring, but I just don't care about this match. They haven't done a job in any way to build it, even though the build seems like it's been going on forever. I feel like I've seen this match before. Have they not done this before? Last pay-per-view, they did the same match?
but we had Eric Redbeard, remember? Because Ray Phoenix was hurt.
Oh, yeah. So they had Eric Rowan instead. Ugh. Last pay-per-view they did this on the pre-show. This time they're sticking it on the pay-per-view for some reason.
Well, apparently Tony Khan doesn't want to put too many matches on the pre-show because in the West Coast it's too early for people. So 8 p.m. instead.
What about the East Coast? What about me?
Oh, no.
What about Raven? All right. You picking a winner here in the Black House versus the Triangle House?
It's tough, but I think I'd go with the House of Black on this one.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like as a team going forward, they have a better future. I don't know if Death Triangle, they're going to keep them together, possibly.
House of Black won
Pac
last
not always
time.
being there, they did win last time, but Pac's not always there. It's hard to get behind someone who's not always there.
Yeah. And Ray Phoenix is like hurt most of the time, so he's not always there. And Penta Oscuro is like weird. I don't know, man. Those two guys, the Ray Phoenix Pentagon, they were better 3 years ago when AEW started. I was more into them, and I cared way more when they started than I do right now. Right? Like, when they started in AEW, when the company started, those guys were the tag team with the Young Bucks. And now?
And they won the belts against the Bucks. That, made sense.
And look how far they've fallen in 3 years. They're so uninteresting compared to where they used to be.
Ray Phoenix broke his arm. He's gonna come back from an injury like that. It's gonna take some time for him to be 100% again. I think. He just
Didn't
had his first
Luchasaurus
match,
break his arm?
Yeah, he did actually.
Yeah, Luchasaurus broke his arm.
But that happened, so it's not easy to recover from that. And didn't he only recently have one of his first matches back?
Mm-hmm.
It was only a couple weeks ago. So this is another reason why I don't know if they're going to win right away. They've kind of had a bit of the over going into this, so I feel like it's the House of Black that's going to win in the end.
But they've been all over the place, the Lucha Brothers, right? Weren't they with Eddie Kingston at one point?
Right, and I believe they were in House Hardy or not, or kind of teamed up with them or something.
Maybe.
With the Butcher and Blade, weren't they, or something?
Yeah, they had they've been in so many groups over the past 3 years. They've shifted all over the place. Or I'm like, who are these guys? What are these guys? Why do I care? When 3 years ago, when they started in AEW, they were a big deal. And now, not. That's a failure. I agree with you, though. I think the House of Black probably wins, although, whatever. The Hardys versus the Young Bucks. I think this will be fun. I like both of these teams. They've got a lot of history. They did a good little segment tonight, dressing up as the Hardys, the Young Bucks did on Rampage, and Gangrel was there. Gangrel was their manager. That was great.
Yep.
And then they turned on Gangrel after the match. They beat two jobbers, did the Young Bucks, dressed as the Hardys. And then they beat up Gangrel after the match. And then the Hardys made the save. That was good stuff. That was the best piece of, build for this match that they've done on TV. Happening tonight on Rampage. Unfortunately, it happened tonight on Rampage. Can't help but think that the segment with Gangrel would have worked a little bit better on their A show on Dynamite to promote this match a little better. Because they have rushed this match in. I don't know how many people saw Rampage tonight to see that good angle that they did with Gangrel and the Hardys and the Bucks.
Yeah, but that's the great thing about this kind of match where you can just throw on Hardys versus Bucks and the name just sells alone. I also wouldn't be surprised if this is the match that starts the pay-per-view. Because to me, it seems like that's kind of a big match. And AEW's philosophy is always start the show with a big match. And this isn't going to be the main event, so I think this is probably going to open the show.
That does make a lot of sense, John. I think you're right. Who do you think wins?
Because the Hardys just came in, I gotta say the Hardys.
I think you're right on that
I think
too.
this is
Yep.
their first pay-per-view, right? They should win their first pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm. They should. But the Bucks are, the Bucks, so I don't know. But yeah, I think the Hardys
This is not a
probably
lock.
win. No, it's not a
Not a
lock at
lock.
all. Yeah, it could go either way. But I'd lean towards the Hardys as well. The Jericho Appreciation Society, Jericho, Matt Menard, Angelo Parker, Daniel Garcia, and Jake Hager take on Eddie Kingston, Santana, Ortiz, Bryan Danielson, and Jon Moxley in an Anarchy in the Arena match. I think this will probably go the way of the babyfaces, Kingston, Santana, Ortiz, Danielson, and Moxley.
I think you're right, but it makes more sense if the heels won because they're more of an actual team where the other team's just a bunch of guys put together randomly.
Yep.
Where Jericho Appreciation Society actually is a group. But you're right. I think the faces are going to win because this is more about wrestling versus sports entertainment, and they definitely want wrestling to win. Even though this is going to be nothing about wrestling, this is just going to be a brawl. You're not going to see much wrestling moves. Maybe the pinfall in the end in the ring, but that's about it. And they call it Anarchy in the Arena. It's pretty much just going to be Stadium Stampede.
But in the arena with people in it. Stadium Stampede was in a stadium with no people. This will be a brawl around an arena with people. Weapons, stuff like that. Little gimmicks here and there. I'm not really looking forward to this match because I'm not a big fan of a 10-man brawl all around the arena. It's not my style wrestling match, especially when you have Bryan Danielson, the best wrestler in the world, in this kind of gimmick joke match. Seems like a waste of Bryan Danielson. 4 pay-per-views a year, and this is what he's doing for this one. This match annoys me because it exists. I'm not really looking forward to seeing it. I'm disappointed that this is all they have for Bryan Danielson. I think that the Danielson team probably wins, but Jericho and his squads have had a lot of these big brawl matches. Jericho wanted this match. This was his match. This was his idea. There could be something to that where the Jericho team somehow finds a way to win. It's not out of the realm of possibility that, Jericho gets a pin on Santana and they win. I think it could go either way, but I think the babyface team probably wins. But if Jericho's team won, I would not be surprised.
Well, just the way they're pushing Eddie Kingston, I see him getting the pinfall victory, I think. I mean, they might give it to Moxley. I don't think Moxley needs it, but I think they'd probably give it to Kingston.
Over Menard or Parker?
Yeah, maybe even Garcia. I mean, whatever body's there, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. MJF versus Wardlow. If Wardlow wins, he's granted his release from his contract with MJF. If MJF wins, Wardlow is permanently banned from ever signing with AEW. MJF Wardlow one-on-one. Yeah, I don't know. This is a weird one because I feel like a lot of people like MJF. I don't know how the crowd will react to Wardlow versus MJF. Do people really want Wardlow to win this match? Do people really want to see Wardlow win? I don't really, but I'm not everybody. I am not usually in the majority of opinion, so I don't know. But I'm kind of rooting for MJF because I don't see much with Wardlow. He's big, but he's not that big. He's jacked, but he's not that jacked. You know what I'm saying? Like, for how they build him, they book him like he's Batista, but if you put him and Batista side by side, you'd be like, what? Even today, Batista, let alone, like, the animal Batista in WWE. You know what I'm saying? Like, they book him like he's this giant, jacked monster, and, like, yeah, he's a big guy in good shape, but he's not a monster for wrestling. He's not that tall. He's not that jacked. He's, tall and jacked, but not like Batista. So I don't really get it. And I like MJF, He's one of the most entertaining guys in the whole company. I don't know. I'm not rooting for Wardlow here. I know some people are, and they're playing the game, and, it's all fun to boo MJF and all that stuff because that's what you're supposed to do. But in my heart, when I'm watching this match, I'm like, yeah, MJF, get that guy. Fuck that guy. He's like bigger than MJF. You know what I mean? MJF is a smaller guy, yet he's supposed to be the heel. It doesn't really work. I think a lot of AEW fans like MJF way more than they like Wardlow. I do. You probably do, right?
Well, I do have to say this is one of the best stories, I think, going into the pay-per-view. Just the way they've slowly built this up. And they let the fans get into it. The fans kind of decided how this was going to go. And they got behind Wardy. So, not surprised by this.
Wardy?
That's what... I don't know if you caught Sean Spears, that's what he called them. So, I'm like, that's good. I'll go with that.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I think Wardlow's probably going to win.
Yeah.
Like, they kind of set it up where he kind of has to win almost.
Yeah. Because if he doesn't, then he can't wrestle in AEW, which that's not happening. Unless his contract's up with AEW. Unless his contract is up and this is just a way to write him off.
Yeah, doubtful.
That'd be pretty good.
This seems to be... They want to make him into a big star, and I feel like they got to give him the win now.
Yeah. Is he a big star?
He's on his way. I think with this, like, it's going to help him.
I'm not convinced. I don't see much there.
It's going to take time.
Has he ever cut a promo that you've been interested in? Has he ever said anything that you care about?
Well, promo-wise, keep it short and sweet. That's what he's got to do. Not say much. I mean, him just going in there and smashing people, that's the best part. Like, I don't know if that was intentional, like how he threw that guy into the cage, but
oh my God,
may have been the best part of Dynamite this week. So
that was not intentional, like, John, and you damn well know it. The way the guy fell, it was not intentional. There's no way. Oh, is that guy okay?
The way the guy was tweeting about it, it seemed like that was supposed to happen or something, or it's like, oh, he didn't kill me kind of thing. Ha ha ha.
Wow.
Like, that's what the guy was tweeting about. So I don't know. But it looked fantastic. I wasn't expecting that. And, if they can provide more moments like that, I think he'll be all right. I think he'll be more than all right.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not convinced. I don't know how far he goes, but, we'll see. AEW books however they book. Britt Baker taking on Ruby Soho in the Owens Hart tournament final match. Women's Hart tournament. Owen Hart final.
Correct.
Soho beat Chris Statlander tonight on Rampage in the main event to qualify for this match against Britt. They give Britt a lot. I could see them giving this to her too, but I think probably not. I think Ruby Soho. I don't think they give this one to Britt. They haven't really done much with Ruby Soho since she came in. She went to the finals of the TBS tournament. Did she not? Against Jade? Wasn't it her and Jade at the end?
It was, yeah.
And she came up short there. This tournament, I figure she wins. At this point, Britt and Soho, I got a feeling they give it to Britt, or to Ruby Soho. They give Britt everything. I don't know if Britt needs this.
Well, we had talked about, like, they screwed up the way this was set up, the brackets. Like, it should have been Toni Storm versus Britt. They were building up for since the start of the tournament.
Yep.
And they faced each other in the semifinals, so they almost had to go with Ruby because that's already built in, that feud with Britt and Ruby. They've done that before, so they can revisit that. That works. But it was very weird with the whole Statlander victory because everyone booed her for beating Statlander, which I don't really understand why she got booed for beating Statlander. And then she got the promo saying, like, oh, you can hate me, but I don't really care what people think. So I don't know if they're going to maybe switch things now where Ruby's going to be the heel and maybe they'll try to turn Britt face. But it's very interesting. like what happened off of Rampage, what could possibly happen now on Sunday now. Will they reverse the roles possibly?
I think they booed they booed Soho beating Statlander because Statlander is an AEW original. She's been with the company since day one. Ruby Soho is Ruby Riott, seen as a WWE transplant coming into AEW and taking a big opportunity away from Chris Statlander, who's been there since day one and worked for it. And I think a lot of fans, including myself, would have preferred Britt Baker versus Chris Statlander in a, it's a 3-year anniversary show. It's a big tournament. Have those two, Britt and Chris, the two originals from your women's division, at the end of the thing instead of Britt versus Ruby Soho. I think that's really the reason. It's just that AEW fans have a more of a soft spot for Chris Statlander than they do for Ruby Soho. It was a babyface on babyface match, I think.
It was.
Unless Statlander's kind of turning heel a bit, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know.
She's got a bit of an edge to her now, right? But
yeah, but that's only because her friends backstab her kind of thing. So it's like, now I'm a badass, but I'm not a jerk though.
Yeah, but I think really it's just a familiarity type of thing. They're more familiar with Statlander than they are with Ruby Soho. But I don't know if they turn Britt babyface off of that because she's just so good in that heel role. Even though she does get cheered a lot of times,
right?
The way she does that Britt Baker heel character, it's very good. It doesn't need to change right now.
Well, I think a lot depends on the women's title match. I mean, if you're going to keep it on Thunder, maybe it's good to turn Ruby heel instead. Have that match instead of doing like Jade against Ruby again.
You don't get a title shot if you win this tournament, right? You don't get anything?
I think more than likely, I mean, if you're not number one contender, I mean, you're definitely top 5, I would think, by winning this. So you would get a shot at one of the titles, right? And I would think Thunder versus Ruby makes sense. However, face versus face, maybe turn Ruby heel. You have the opportunity, I think, on Sunday to do it. It's going to be pretty much the same fans, right?
Mm-hmm.
On Sunday?
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe you do it.
They might. We'll see. Either way, I think we're both picking Ruby Soho to win, right?
Yeah.
How about the men's Owen Hart tournament final? Samoan Joe versus Adam Cole. This is one I think I see Adam Cole winning. Should be a good match. I think Cole gets this one done.
Like, I want Joe to win. That would be fantastic if Joe won, because I feel like Joe going on to like main event status, that's where Joe should be. However, he's already got the built-in storyline with Jay Lethal, so I think that's going to screw him over in this match. And yeah, they probably want to put Adam Cole probably against Punk possibly in the future.
In a match or a world title match?
Well, I'm thinking Punk's going to win the title, so yeah. World title.
Is Punk going to win the title? Let's get to that match right now. Let's skip ahead for a second now that you mentioned it. Hangman Page, CM Punk. Hangman defending the AEW World title against CM Punk here. I'm not sure. It's how tough, this goes down. It is really tough to call. That promo on Dynamite on Wednesday was interesting. A little bit odd.
Makes it good, though.
Huh?
So what makes it good? The main event, it's like you don't know how it's going to go. I mean, usually the main event, it's way too predictable. But this time, finally, the main event that's not predictable, like you're actually excited for the last match because you don't know how it's going to go.
Yeah.
Finally.
Yeah. It's good. It's why we're tuning in. The promo on Wednesday was a little bit weird. Hangman being very vague, talking about CM Punk, defending AEW from CM Punk, all these things. And I was reading reports, like I saw a report from Dave Meltzer who was saying, oh, it's so good because he's touching on backstage stuff that nobody knows about. And people on TV might not know what's going on, but backstage they get it. And I'm like, well, Is that good, though? If we're watching on TV and we have no idea what the hell he's talking about, is that good TV? Meltzer was like, oh, it's so great. I was like, well, was it, though? Because I don't know what the hell he was talking about. Oh, CM Punk, like, he's kind of saying, like, CM Punk, everybody thinks he's a good guy, but he's not such a good guy. Giving zero examples, not really explaining what he means, and I think we're left to kind of understand why Hangman maybe has turned mean to CM Punk, maybe halfway turned heel, but he's kind of explaining, like, look, I'm not turning heel, I just don't like this guy CM Punk, and I think he's bad for the company. But the fans seem more behind Punk because Hangman hasn't really explained why. And Punk has just been respectful. Not about you, Hangman. It's not personal. It's just business. I want the belt. It's weird. It's a weird promo. It's a weird way to attack this story. I wish we would have seen like 2 or 3 of these in-ring promos between these guys to build it up and explain what the hell's going on here. But they didn't go there. I think Hangman's going to retain.
It could happen. Yeah, it's definitely a toss-up, this match. No question about it. Like, to me, I'm just seeing the sense where Punk's been the guy for so long. Like, it just makes a lot of sense right now to put the title on him. And, like, it kind of makes sense what Hangman's talking about, where it's like you can't trust Punk. Because every time Punk wins a world title somewhere, he eventually turns heel. So I think that more likely will happen. I don't know if it will happen right away, but I definitely think it could happen eventually in the future with him as champion.
Yeah, I think you're right. But AEW seems hell-bent on making Hangman Page their #1 champion and a legit world champion in professional wrestling. And a great way to solidify him is to get a big win over CM Punk here on pay-per-view. He's beaten Kenny. He's beaten Bryan. Now he beats Punk. Solid. World champion. Unstoppable. Forget Roman Reigns. We've got Hangman Page. Which I think is a good strategy for a pro wrestling company when the main competition has such a strong established champion. Try to establish your own champion as strong. So you make fans think like, wow, imagine Hangman versus Roman, what would happen? You know, dream match type of thing. Right now, if you were to book Hangman versus Roman, if I were to book Hangman versus Roman, you would easily have Roman win. Right? Like, without a doubt.
There's no question. Yeah, there's no question.
Because just how WWE has built Roman and how Hangman has been built by AEW, it's on 2 different levels. Roman has just been built to a level that just, he seems like a more grand champion than Hangman, right? He seems more serious.
2 titles.
So if the average wrestling fan, you know, when you say, here's the AEW champion, here's the WWE champion, they're like, yeah, WWE champion way better. That's a problem for AEW. And to fix that, you make your champion, you know, important. Have him go on a run. Have him defend. Have him win. Like when Rob Van Dam was the ECW TV champion, it put the ECW brand on the map. It put Rob Van Dam on the map. Made that TV title seem like the main ECW title. Sometimes you give, and it made Rob Van Dam seem like a guy. It's like, oh, this guy, Rob Van Dam in ECW, if he went up against any of the world champions in WCW or WWF, like, he could hold his own. Because you can't mess with RVD right now. He's a champion, you know? Sometimes wrestling companies need to establish a guy above all else to kind of give themselves that credibility. So I could see them keeping it with Hangman, you know? Because the more you build Hangman, the more you think, and there's that perception of, well, if Roman is like up here and Hangman's down here, then WWE must be up here and AEW must be down here, right? Because a world champion is a representative of your company. So I think building Hangman to a higher level makes AEW a stronger company, makes our world champion stronger, solidifies them. But throwing the belt on CM Punk is not a terrible idea either, because he's CM Punk. And if the average wrestling fan said, hey, Roman Reigns versus CM Punk, dream match is going to happen, AEW versus WWE, who do you book to win? That, I think, would be a little bit more, oh, well, maybe, still Roman. But it's a little closer, right? Because Punk is more established. He's a bigger wrestling star than Hangman is.
Boy, you just look at the marquee. What's a bigger draw? Punk's a bigger draw. It just makes sense. And I think it's actually going to help Hangman if he's chasing Punk and trying to win that title back from Punk, which he easily could do as well.
Mm-hmm. But you make guys bigger draws by having them win big matches. He's
won big matches.
Yeah, but if he keeps winning big matches, he becomes a bigger draw. If he can't be beat and he keeps winning the big matches, he becomes a bigger and bigger draw to the point where it's like, oh my God, can anybody beat him? Undefeated, undefeatable is still a draw in professional wrestling. Look at Undertaker's streak at WrestleMania. The whole appeal was, can anybody beat him on this night? And if you just keep Hangman's streak of, I am defending the title and I win every title defense, you build up like, can anyone actually beat Hangman? And when somebody does, it's a huge deal. I think if CM Punk beats Hangman on Sunday, it's a deal, but it's not like earth-shattering. It's like, oh, okay, AEW's going with Punk. Hangman will kind of do some stuff, and then he'll find his way back to the title picture. It's not a earth-shattering move to put it on Punk. So I think it would be good in many ways to keep it on Punk, but if you're really hell-bent on making Hangman Page your number one star in the company, he should win.
I'm just looking in terms of the long term here. It's like if Punk can't beat him, who is going to beat him? I feel in terms of top contenders, there's not many left at this point.
MJF.
Who's more than likely coming off a loss this pay-per-view.
Well, not yet. I'm not saying it. I'm saying Hangman doesn't lose for another 6 months.
So not even at All Out. Wow.
Mm-mm. When did he win it? November? Give him a year. You can't give him a year with the belt?
Oh, we gave Kenny a year.
Yeah. Give Hangman a year, have him drop it to MJF next November.
I don't know. It's kind of long. I think it's better to change it up. Keep it fresh.
Yeah, I don't know. But do you want to go back to a 40-plus-year-old CM Punk who's kind of already seen maybe his better days? Is that the representative that you want as your world champion? I don't know. I like Punk.
Well said.
But I don't know if that's the direction AEW wants to go in. I think either way, they're all right. If they keep it on Hangman, it's a good move. If they give it to Punk, that's a fine move as well. I think either way, They're fine. I just think that they'll probably give it to Hangman. Like, if I had to bet, I'd say probably Hangman holds on. But I'm not mad either way. I'm curious to see what they choose to do.
Yeah. Agreed. 100% on that one. It just makes sense to change things up now at this point. Do something a little bit different. Like, I don't know about you, like, I don't see any other titles changing hands.
Are there titles on the line? Maybe the tag team titles. Jurassic Express defending against Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs. Defending against Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland. AEW tag team titles on the line. I think this is where the Jungle Express drops it. And I'd like to see them drop it to Lee and Swerve. I think you establish Lee and Swerve as a real tag team by putting the belts on them. And then you go from there. I like Lee and Swerve as a tag team. I like them way better together than I do apart. As singles, I don't know how far they climb. But as a tag team, I think they could be one of the top.
I agree. I'd love to see it, but I just feel like they aren't going to end Jurassic Express quite yet. I know they've teased that maybe Christian's going to turn, whatever, but I feel like this is just a long-term story, and it's just not quite time yet for Jurassic Express to lose. I wouldn't mind if they lost, but I just don't see it happening Sunday.
They've held the belts for a while. It's enough already.
Since December, January, was it the first Dynamite this year? Something like that.
I've had enough.
Well, again, I wouldn't mind if they lost. And yeah, I think Lee and Strickland be perfect. Even Team Taz. But I just don't think that it's going to be their night.
All right, well, I'm picking Lee and Swerve. I think they win. I think it will be their night. Johnny's sticking with the champs. Johnny doesn't see title changes. I see a tag team title change. I don't see a women's title change. Thunder Rosa and Serena Deeb. I think Thunder retains. The match should be good, but it might not be.
I mean, they've wrestled each other before, so I'm not really too worried about in terms of the quality of the match. I wouldn't mind Serena winning, actually. I actually feel like that would be a great change for the women's division. So I feel like there's a lot of good faces coming up that Serena could defend against. And she's kind of like the teacher. You could play that gimmick off better than Thunder's doing. Thunder's not doing much with it. Like she's a strong champion, but she's kind of too strong right now.
Yeah. I'm not interested in any of that. The promos for the build to this match have been bad. Just bad. And it's just kind of
rushed.
Yeah, but also bad. Just, a lot of bad stuff. Past couple of weeks, the Serena promo a couple weeks ago with Goldust, and then the Thunder Rosa promo this week with Shivani. It was like, all right. The match itself could be all right, but Thunder Rosa, sometimes I think she's one of the best in AEW, and then sometimes I see her wrestle, and I really don't like it. It's kind of weird. She's hit and miss.
Again, chemistry with people. I've said the same thing with Charlotte. Like Charlotte has good matches, and then sometimes she has opponents, and it's like, what the hell was that? You're not the best in the world. Like that was terrible.
Take it easy. She is the best. Congratulations to Charlotte and Andrade. They got married, I think today or yesterday.
Oh, congrats. That explains where Andrade's been.
Yep, and Charlotte too. They're busy.
Oh yeah,
they're busy.
They wrote her off though.
Yeah, that's true. Andrade just kind of disappeared. But that's how it works in AEW. Yeah. You don't get written off. You just disappear, and no one asks any questions about where you went. Darby Allin is going to wrestle. Huh? Oh, Kenny got written off.
Kenny's been talking. And he's been talking, too. Like, he's been saying, like, he's still not 100%. He might never be 100% ever again.
Yeah, but he will be back at some point.
Yeah.
Not this weekend, but at some point. Kyle O'Reilly's going to wrestle Darby Allin for some reason. Darby challenged him to the match because Kyle hit Sting with a chair, and Darby's mad about it, I guess. I don't know. I don't know why this match has to happen.
Legit injured. Like, Sting was actually scheduled to be at the pay-per-view, but not because of that. I think they wrote him off, actually. So Sting couldn't make it.
Oh. Well, Sting's hurt.
Well, 63, like, are you surprised? Like,
no, he's a 63-year-old professional wrestler. I think he should be constantly injured. I don't understand how he's not injured more often. So Darby just wrestles Kyle. I guess it was supposed to be Red Dragon versus Sting and Darby.
Makes sense.
But now it's just one-on-one, which kind of sucks. I'll go with Darby, but whatever.
Yeah, Darby, I think, is a safe bet on this one. I mean, he's one of the top stars in the company.
Yeah, they didn't do much of a build for this match for him, but hey, I do agree. He is one of the top stars in the company. Sammy Guevara, Frankie Kazarian, Tay Conti will take on Scorpion Sky, Ethan Page, and Paige Van Zant. A 6-person mixed tag team match. If Scorpio, Ethan, and Paige win, then Sammy or Frankie can never challenge for the TNT title as long as Scorpio is the champion. Some stipulation.
That's it?
Yep. That's it.
Okay. It's a one-sided stipulation, all right.
Yeah, if Sammy and Frankie's team win, I don't know what they get. Maybe a title shot? But I don't know. Tonight on Rampage, they did a whole promo in the ring. Dan Lambert presented a new TNT title to Scorpio because it got stolen by Sammy Guevara, and then there was a camera crew, and it showed Sammy on the big screen with Tay Conti and Frankie Kazarian, and they're at American Top Team, and they had a baseball bat, and they smashed a glass trophy case and stole some UFC belts this time from the American Top Team, the BMF title and a couple UFC world titles that are probably replicas. Probably not the real thing, I would expect.
Well, they did talk to Dana this week, so who knows?
Who did?
Apparently Tony Khan had a meeting with Dana. You didn't see that?
No.
Apparently he broke the news to Dana about the whole WWE relocating Money in the Bank.
Oh, yeah? How did Dana take it?
He announced that. Well, you could imagine how he took it.
Yeah. Probably thought it was pretty amusing. Yeah, Paige Van Zandt is going to wrestle here, which could be interesting. I don't know. Why take UFC belts? Why did that upset Scorpio Sky so much? What does he care about the UFC championships that he did not win? I mean, I understand why Dan Lambert's mad, because those are fighters on his team, and they won the belts, and they're, American Top Team property. But what does Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page care about that? Why?
Well, they wear the shirts, though, so they kind of consider themselves a part of America's Top Team.
Yeah, well, I don't think any of the fighters do.
Right, I know, but that's what they're playing into the story, that they are a part of America's Top Team, so that's why they're doing that as well.
But stealing UFC belts, it's a little weird. But, hey, whatever. That's how they're building this story, and now they're going to do the match. What?
It's more prestigious than the titles that they have, exactly, so.
Yeah, it's like steal the TNT title, whatever. Steal a UFC belt, what? How dare you? Those are real belts. People actually win those. I'll go with Scorpio, Page, and Page for the win. The Page and Page connection, taking out Kazarian, Guevara, and Conti. Probably, right?
Well, I was going to say Page pinning Ty, probably, yeah. It's her debut match. Makes sense.
Shaq lost his debut match.
No, they won.
Did they?
Yeah, they won.
I thought Shaq went through a power... Didn't he go through a table and then...
Yeah, Jade got the win.
Oh, Jade got the win. Yeah, oh, you're right. Didn't Shaq disappear from the ambulance and he was never seen again?
Well, long-term storyline. You gotta wait and see what happens next.
Did they ever follow up on that? Shaq goes through a table, they put him in an ambulance, and then Shaq is revealed to have disappeared from the ambulance, which is a pretty big guy. I don't know how you manage that. And they never addressed where Shaq went. Anyways. All right, Scorpio, Ethan, and Paige. I think they win, and that's the AEW Double or Nothing preview.
I thought there was more matches. Wow, okay.
No, that's it. That's 13. 14 matches. No, 13 matches. Digital art coding. Jason Pete says, I'm really not sure about these pro wrestling and MMA crossovers. How bad is Paige Van Zandt going to be in the ring?
It'll be interesting because, they started her off as a heel. Now I guess she's a face. So that's interesting.
Is she? I don't know who's a face in this. Like, how did Dan Lambert's team become the baby faces? How does that make sense?
Well, just Sammy and Ty are so despised and hated that
Yeah,
regardless that they are the heels, that yeah, like de facto faces.
it's weird. That whole thing is weird, but hey, it's AEW where nothing really makes complete sense. WWE is a little illogical too. Let's talk some WWE, John. Money in the Bank moved from Allegiant Stadium, the football stadium, to the MGM Grand Garden Arena. Went from about a 60, 70,000 seat capacity to about a 24,000 seat capacity. Why? Because they weren't selling tickets. So they're downgrading to a small arena, down from a big stadium, because the Money in the Bank card is unknown and no one cared. It's also International Fight Week for the UFC, and they have 2 title fights going on at the T-Mobile Arena in Vegas at the exact same time as Money in the Bank in Vegas. Same night, same time. And again, if I was in Las Vegas on July 2nd and I had one choice, because I can't be in 2 places at once, what ticket am I buying? A ticket to see Israel Adesanya against Jared Cannonier and Max Holloway versus Alexander Volkanovski, or Roman Reigns versus Matt Riddle? I mean, come on. It's a pretty easy decision. I'm going to the UFC every time. As a fan of both, I can tell you that watching a UFC pay-per-view or a WWE pay-per-view is a very easy decision. I'm taking that UFC pay-per-view every time. Every time. It's quality over quantity. Quality over quantity. And UFC fans complain there's too much UFC sometimes. I'm like, whoa, 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 guys. Have you ever seen wrestling? It's crazy.
Yeah, but for old school UFC, it is a lot though.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
before,
It used to be like once a month, and that was it.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's way more UFC now than we've ever had before, and it's, the quality of the fighters and I think the quality of the fighters is actually pretty damn high. I think top to bottom now the quality of the fighters is higher than it's ever been. It's just you don't know who they are all the time because there's so many of them because they have to fill so many cards. Like the roster's
Right.
so big and they have a lot of fighters you've never really heard of, but the level of mixed martial arts is higher now than it's ever been in the history of the game because the sport just evolves so quickly. It's amazing how good fighters are these days. It's crazy. Black belts in multiple disciplines, expert level. Sorry, yeah.
I can't wait for that the watch along. That's gonna be great. Multi-cast watch along. That should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, July 2nd, we're going to do a super watch along where we'll start at 10 o'clock like normal for a UFC pay-per-view, and we'll be doing the UFC pay-per-view watch along. But we'll also have Money in the Bank going on, and we'll talk about Money in the Bank while we're doing the UFC watch along. I think it'll officially be called the UFC watch along, and then with Money in the Bank thrown in there. UFC watch along, Money in the Bank post-show watch along. It's going to be something. I don't know. I'll be here. AJ will be here. Freddie will be here. Johnny will be here. It's going to be
At some point,
a big show. Yeah, well, we'll figure it out, John. So, yeah. Moving from a stadium to a casino arena, it's not a good sign for the WWE. When is the last time they did that? Like, that's not something they do. They don't move arenas. Thank you, Anthony. Shout out Anthony out in England. Good morning.
I think people have made mention. I think the last time this had happened was WrestleMania 7, where they wanted a stadium, I think. But WWE says because they got bomb threats, that's why they had it in an arena instead. Other people saying that they couldn't sell out that stadium. That was the problem. I mean, it depends who you talk to on that one, but I guess that was the last time where they switched that, WrestleMania 7.
Okay.
So it's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
That wasn't for lack of tickets, right? Tickets sold. That wasn't a ticket sold situation.
Well, it depends again who you talk to. Some people say it actually was a ticket thing, and WWE is just using the bomb threats actually as a cover-up. So it depends who you talk to on that one.
Yeah.
Depends who you talk to.
Yeah, I've heard different stories, but I don't know.
Yeah. But with this, I think it's just, WWE was a little too over-ambitious. 3 stadium shows in the span of, 2.5 months? Maybe less? Was just maybe a little too much, I think. To have 2 stadium shows in 1 month, it was just too much. And they just realized that, Money in the Bank, it's not that hot selling of a product, sadly. You can't sell out a stadium for that. You could do that for SummerSlam, WrestleMania. Saudi Arabia, they can pull it off, but, not for Money in the Bank. It's just not that hot of a draw.
Do you think if they did it in another city, same night, stadium, not in Vegas, not going up against the UFC in the UFC's hometown, do you think they would have been able to successfully sell that stadium enough to run it? Do you think if this isn't in Vegas, they move? Or was it the fact that, hey, they just don't, they have too much competition in Vegas that night? I think the UFC doing a big show at the T-Mobile Arena was a big reason why the WWE wasn't able to sell a bunch of tickets for Vegas on that Saturday night.
Definitely a big reason. There's no question about that. The timing is horrible for WWE. However, you're going to see it, SummerSlam, I think you stated this week, SummerSlam, they're having a UFC pay-per-view the same night again, right?
Yeah, but they're not in the same city, right? The UFC pay-per-view is going to be in Dallas, Texas, and SummerSlam is going to be in Nashville. And they're not moving SummerSlam. SummerSlam in the stadium seems to be going on ahead.
For now, yeah. I'm a little surprised Nashville. I wouldn't think Nashville would be a big, stadium kind of crowd. You'd really sell out for that, but I think it goes to show the brand as well. SummerSlam. I think people look at that and that's one of the biggest pay-per-views. You got to go see that one. That's going to be gigantic. Money in the Bank. I mean, yes, the Money in the Bank match, but besides that, what really is there selling that pay-per-view? Cody Rhodes talking about this is going to change your life kind of thing. That doesn't work for a lot of people.
I am looking at the Ticketmaster website right now for SummerSlam tickets. And there are a ton available. It doesn't look like they've sold anything for this thing. What is happening?
Well, Nashville, I can't believe Nashville. Why didn't they come back to Toronto?
Here, I'll show you Ticketmaster right now to see what you can get for SummerSlam. It's kind of nuts. So this is the arena. The things in blue and pink are tickets that you can buy. I'll zoom in a bit so you can see. So in blue and pink, these are all tickets you can buy, right? All available. Uh-oh, what happened?
Lost.
What happened? I had it. What just happened?
Well, you can just explain it to me. It's fine.
Well, shit. I had a visual aid. And now the team messed with my visual aid.
It's not coming back?
I don't know. Are they going to fix it or not? Is it fixed? It's not fixed. I had it. Now I lost it. Anyways.
Well, any
what
idea
I'm saying
of
is hard camera side, John, they haven't even put anything on sale. So there's a whole half of an arena where nothing's on sale.
For pay-per-view.
I would love to be able to show it to you, and I know I was able to show it to you a second ago, and I think we're going to be able to show it to you again.
But for pay-per-view, that's disastrous. They can't do that. Like, that can't happen. They can't have a whole section like empty like that. That's not going to work. However, I mean, SummerSlam is what, July 30th?
Yeah. Are we good? I think we're good. I think I can show you the visual aid again. Okay, I'm going to do it. There we go. This is no good. Yeah, see? Look at all these tickets you could buy. See? All down here, John? All this stuff down here? See, there's the ring, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then you see all this stuff that looks like, oh, it's maybe sold. That's just not on sale. All that.
Oh, goodness.
All that.
That's not good.
They don't sell any of that because it's hard camera side, so the camera doesn't see it. So all the tickets on the other side, they're for sale, and they're not selling them. You could buy a ticket on the floor, third row for SummerSlam right now. These tickets are not selling for SummerSlam.
What's the capacity on the stadium?
Oh, my God. I don't know, but a lot. A lot. What's it called?
I'm going to guess 60,000.
Nissan Stadium capacity. They might have to move this to a smaller arena. 69,143. And they have sold, like, let's see. Not many. I can't tell you exactly how many, but I know there's a great account on Twitter called Wrestle Tickets.
Right.
And they give you a pretty good idea.
They give a good estimate, I think.
Hell in a Cell.
Maybe just a percentage.
Hell in a Cell's doing real well at the Allstate Arena in Chicago.
Chicago, great town for wrestling.
They're almost sold out there. I'm trying to get you a number for SummerSlam, but I just don't see it. I'm not seeing any SummerSlam numbers. But it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good, and I wonder how it's going to go for SummerSlam because they already had to move Money in the Bank.
And I know our buddy Andy was complaining about the Clash at the Castle, like, being way too expensive to go to. So
yeah, but people are buying tickets for that because people are hungry for that.
Yeah, that's it. Well, that's it. I mean, if they had like a big show here in Canada, if it was in Toronto, they'd definitely be able to sell that out. If SummerSlam was in Toronto, no problem.
If Money in the Bank was in Toronto or Montreal, I think they could probably sell 40,000, 50,000 tickets in a stadium.
I would not want to show at Olympic Stadium. That'd be awful. I think everyone would agree with that. We never want to see a wrestling show there.
I would. Be fun.
Really?
I never have. Why not?
I think there's a good reason for that. It's just the setup is whole. It's just awful.
Like, I like Money in the Bank. I think Money in the Bank is a draw. I think Money in the Bank is a bigger draw than SummerSlam. I've traveled to 2 Money in the Banks. I went to Boston and Philadelphia to see Money in the Bank. I think the problem is there's no belief that Money in the Bank is going to be a solid card, and the trust in the WWE is gone. The trust in Money in the Bank being a meaningful event. Like, Money in the Bank at a certain point felt like you were seeing the crowning of a new champion. When you went to Money in the Bank, you were seeing something that meant something long-term in WWE. Now, it's kind of a throwaway. It's like, yeah, you win Money in the Bank, but who cares?
It's been overdone.
Yeah, it's overdone, and now it's kind of like, well, what do you even get if you win Money in the Bank? Because Cody said on the commercial, you get a WrestleMania match. Like, what does that mean? So it's not even clear what Money in the Bank is anymore. And they try to milk it and get it into a stadium. It's like, I think they've lost the plot of what Money in the Bank is supposed to be. Like, they've, over the years, kind of watered down the Money in the Bank concept to the point where we don't believe in it anymore. We don't even believe that the matches are going to be that crazy because they've toned it down so much. Like, I remember Money in the Bank, you were guaranteed a crazy match. Six
Two.
guys in a ladder, it was going to be nuts. 2 of them. But now, everything's so watered down in WWE. Everything's so safe. It's not that crazy. It's really not that crazy. I've traveled to some crazy Money in the Bank events, and they were great. But over the past few years, Money in the Bank is just not what it used to be. I would not travel to go see a Money in the Bank. Not anymore.
What, Money in the Bank, if I'm not mistaken, that was the first pay-per-view back with fans, right?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Last year. I think last year, yeah, Money in the Bank was the first where they had at full capacity fans again.
Okay.
So I think maybe they thought like, oh, well, this is like our big thing. This is our comeback show, Money in the Bank now. This is where, we have WrestleMania Backlash, but really Money in the Bank, this is where we start the new season kind of thing. People would want to really get into that. Nope. Sadly, not the case. Again, Nashville, not a great area. They should have just picked a better area, I think.
No. Vegas was Money in the Bank. Nashville, SummerSlam.
Oh, right, Vegas. Right. Well, both, I think
Neither stadium show.
On that one.
Neither stadium show is selling. Neither.
Fumble on both of them.
Uh-huh. Speaking of a fumble, Cody and Miz had a pretty terrible match on Raw this week. I think every single week, Cody gets less impressive and less impactful on the show. He means less every week. This was a terrible week for Cody. What a bad match. Miz is bad. Made Cody look bad.
Well, you say the match was bad. I mean, if you look at the rest of Raw, this may have been the best thing we saw on Raw, to be honest, this week. So, yeah, it wasn't the best that we've seen Cody at.
Yeah, bad for Cody.
I don't feel like this was really his fault. He didn't really get a chance to do anything besides come out, give his weight belt to a kid, then wait, forever because there has to be a promo package, and then a promo backstage, and then we go back to Cody. Oh, and by the way, he's going to do a match, which ends in a DQ, which is never fun. And then Seth has to come out, gives him one shot with the belt that he stole from the kid, which I thought was cute. But he only gave him one shot. It was like, well, that's it. It's kind of flat.
Yeah. It's not great.
But
won't stop
what makes
either.
it worse is this was probably the best part of Raw, to be honest. I'm trying to look at highlights of Raw, looking back on it, was like, well, there's a lot I could skip because a lot didn't happen. That was probably the best part, and then Cody's match happened.
Yeah, nothing really happened on Raw this week. Nothing.
Opening match was fine, I thought, but I mean, it was just okay. I didn't like Bobby Lashley's promo.
No.
The whole idea of MVP.
The Bobby Lashley Omos stuff still going on. Come on.
Oh, now it's going to be like a handicap match of the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
It's why do we want that?
We don't.
I mean, you're upset about Double or Nothing. Hell in a Cell the following week. It's not going to get much better, it looks like.
Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley against AJ Styles and Liv Morgan was kind of interesting. Interesting pairing.
I wasn't a huge fan of that promo. I mean, it's just too long.
Yeah.
The fact that they all have to talk, then Edge has to talk, and Edge is going to talk the longest. It just feels like it goes on and on and on. And then, Liv Morgan music hits. That's very intimidating. Should be really worried about that.
Yeah.
And that match, I don't know. It just felt clunky, that match. Liv, to me, her offense isn't very believable against Rhea, who's, seems like she should be really strong, but for some reason, Liv is able to get offense on her decently easily. I don't know. That match to me wasn't that great.
Liv is not believable on offense, especially against Rhea Ripley. Asuka and Becky Lynch main evented. The match before the main event, Bobby Lashley lost to MVP by countout when Bobby just decided to attack Omos, who was outside the ring, completely ignoring the match and getting himself counted out because Bobby's stupid, apparently. I don't know.
Talking about bad finishes, that the match we just talked about, AJ Liv against Rhea and Damian Priest, Liv goes for her finish and Edge hangs on to her.
Yeah.
And then just pins her, and it's like, what the heck is that? Like, oh, she took a bump, but like she takes that bump to do the finish anyways.
That's
But
true.
apparently, that because she didn't fall down with her, like it hurts even more for some reason. Like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, that's a good
That
point.
made no sense.
I hate any finisher where you take a bump. Don't bump on your own
Well, if you
finish.
take a bump, whatever, fine. But like, you sold that as the finish. Like,
Yeah.
it just looked bad, and bad finishes continue.
The worst finish of the night came in the main event. Becky Lynch and Asuka. By far the worst finish.
It was bad.
It was very bad. Bianca Belair was on commentary. Becky kind of sits, falls.
No, she wasn't actually.
Oh, no, she was just sitting.
there.
Yeah, you're right. She didn't talk. They don't have enough confidence in Bianca Belair, their world champion, one of their future stars of the company, current stars of the company. They don't have enough confidence to put a mic on her during the match. She just kind of sits there.
Well, to be fair, Kevin Owens, I think the segment prior, same thing. But you could hear Kevin talking. Sat there, but you could hear him better than the commentators.
Yeah. Kevin was good tonight on SmackDown. I want to talk about him and Sammy a little later. But, yeah. So Bianca's sitting there ringside. Becky kind of sits down, falls down on Bianca. Asuka goes to kick Becky. Becky ducks out of the way, and Asuka kicks Bianca in the head. Which, if there's somebody sitting on somebody else, like, John, if you're sitting on, say, AJ's lap, right? And I want to kick you in the head, but I really don't want to kick AJ. I might wait till you get off his lap to kick you. I might wait until you're away from somebody else before kicking you. Didn't seem like Asuka was really in control of her weapons there. And Bianca had a legitimate beef, but she didn't do anything about it. Because Asuka kicks Bianca in the head, then falls down for no reason. Becky Lynch gets back into the ring because the referee is counting to 10. Asuka then rolls back into the ring after Becky, just barely beating the 10 count. And Becky just pins her. Just kind of grabs her and pinned her. Didn't hit a move. Didn't hit nothing. Asuka threw a kick, fell down, got in the ring, got pinned. It was a ridiculous finish. It made Asuka look terrible. And it really made the WWE look bad and uncreative, and whoever the producers were, I don't know what the hell they were thinking. But to me, you have a perfectly made finish that you could have done, and instead you gave us this flat finish that made no sense that made Asuka look like trash. Asuka should have kicked Bianca. Becky rolls back into the ring. Asuka rolls back into the ring. Bianca jumps on the apron, starts yelling at Asuka. Asuka says, no, I didn't mean to kick you. Then Becky rolls up Asuka, 1, 2, 3. Becky wins. Similar to the finish from last week where Becky hit Bianca and then Bianca jumped on the apron, which caused a distraction to allow Becky to get rolled up by Asuka. Do the reverse finish this week, and you save everybody a lot of trouble. Instead, you do this terrible finish with no finisher, with no reason why Asuka should be laying down, taking a 3 count, while Becky's putting like no pressure on her to even pin her down. My finish would have been way better than what they did. My finish made sense.
You're missing one part, though, is that after Asuka fell down, like, Becky did kick her in the back of the head, and like it didn't seem like it hurt that much whatsoever.
It was like
but apparently that was, yeah. But that was the finishing move in a sense.
Okay, if you say so. Pretty bad finish.
It was the last offensive strike that was thrown in the match.
Yeah,
it was that little kick to the back of the head.
Okay. But with that, Becky is now in the match. It's Becky, Asuka, and Bianca in a triple threat at Hell in a Cell. And we've got a couple new matches added to Hell in a Cell. That one, triple threat. Cody versus Seth inside the Hell in a Cell. Bobby Lashley versus Omos and MVP in a 2-on-1. And Ezekiel versus Kevin Owens 1-on-1. Kevin Owens was a highlight of SmackDown tonight. His promo with Sami Zayn was very good. Kevin and Sami hug. Sami says Elias and Ezekiel are clearly the same person. Kevin and Sami hug again. Kevin is emotional. He's sick of people lying. He says, Sami, you have to leave SmackDown now and help me on Raw call out all the liars, starting with Elias. Sami says, look, I can't. I'm the locker room leader here. The bloodline needs me. It's not a good time. It's not a good time now, Oos. Which I thought was so fun, right? Kevin's like,
Kevin's face was the best.
Yeah, Kevin's like, what? Just call me Oos? Well, look, you're just the same naive guy that you've always been. You idiot. You're not in the bloodline. They don't care about you. You moron, right? And Sami gets mad, and he's like, well, Elias and Ezekiel are clearly two different people. They look different. They're not the same guy. I was just saying that to make you feel good, Kevin. And they get all mad, and Kevin's like, look, the bloodline doesn't even care about you. Why don't you have them come out and hang out with you right now? Here's the bloodline. And then Sami's like, whoa, give them a couple minutes. They'll be out here. And then they don't show up. And Sami looks sad. And he's like, look, whatever, man. I'm leaving. And Sami looks sad. And Kevin chases after him and kind of grabs him. He's like, no, Sami. Come to Raw with me. I need your help. And Sami pushes him away. And Kevin gets mad because he sees a couple crew members or, extra wrestlers taking signs down from the KO show, so he goes and hits a stunner on those guys. But this is Sami Zayn now showing some sensitivity, showing some vulnerability. Sami Zayn backstage with the Usos wants to know what they think of him, where he stands with the bloodline. He says, look, I know I'm not your family, but maybe I could be an honorary member of the bloodline. And Jimmy Uso's like, yeah, sure, why not? And Jey Uso kind of looks at Jimmy like, what the hell? And then Jimmy and Jay go into a locker room that says Roman Reigns, even though Roman Reigns was not on the show tonight. He still has a locker room that the Usos hang out in. I guess Heyman wasn't on the show either. And Sami was very happy about this. Now, this is what I think is the Sami Zayn babyface turn. I think they're turning Sami babyface. He's trying and trying and trying to gain the bloodline's approval. They clearly don't respect him or like him. Eventually, he'll realize that and go against them and turn babyface in the process. I called this weeks ago here, John. Right?
You did, but I feel like this might take a while, though.
Yeah.
Might take months, actually.
But I called it eventually happening. I think a good story is long and drawn out, but this whole Sami bloodline thing is the beginning of a Sami babyface turn, and you may not have believed it 2-3 weeks ago, but tonight, after the promo with Kevin, it's hard to deny.
Well, I think you need a guy like Kevin to kind of help push that, because Kevin kind of helped put the seeds in for it. I don't feel if you don't have him there to help guide the story, it doesn't work so well. If it's just Sami and the bloodline, you actually cheer more for the bloodline than Sami. But Kevin's such a good jerk that it helped guide Sami in this way.
I think that's why Kevin was on the show tonight, to help this story progress. And it worked. Best thing on SmackDown.
In the right direction, yeah.
Yeah.
Best thing? I guess so. I'm trying to think what else really happened on SmackDown. I didn't mind the whole stuff with Ronda. That was kind of interesting. Not the best part, but Ronda was all right.
Ronda was all right. I didn't like the Shotzi stuff before the Ronda stuff.
Well, it's the story. I give them that. They're doing something with them, at least.
Shotzi backstage with Xia Li, Aaliyah, Natty, and Shayna saying that, hey, we should be the ones facing Ronda, not Raquel Rodriguez again. Why is she getting the shot? Xia Li is there. She's silent. She disappeared. She didn't say anything. I saw her on SmackDown, but she's just... I don't know
she's
what...
there.
Yeah, she's kind of there. Aaliyah is not too impressed with Shotzi's plan to attack Ronda and Raquel, but Shayna and Natty are down with the program, and they decide to go to the ring now and do their work. Shotzi decides to go back and get her helmet, and then she tries to leave the room, but she can't leave the locker room because Aaliyah is outside the door with the key, and she's locked her in. This was so dumb because Natty and Shayna walk out. How did Aaliyah know that Shotzi wasn't going to walk out right behind them? How did Aaliyah know that Shotzi was going to trail behind by herself in the locker room and she was going to be able to lock her in? Also, have you ever in your life been in a room that locks only from the outside? If you're in a room, have you ever been trapped in a room?
Yeah, from the outside, it's very rare.
It doesn't happen unless you're in a prison cell. But find me a locker room, a real locker room anywhere, or a room anywhere that locks only from the outside that you are stuck in once they lock it from the outside. The room doesn't exist. That's not how locks work. That's not how rooms work. The WWE is so out to lunch that they think we don't know how locked doors work. Like, what? I was like, wait a second. She's able to lock that from outside the locker room, and now Shotzi's stuck in there? That's not how rooms work. Outrageous.
Well, I think rooms used to work like that.
What are you talking about? Rooms used to work like that. What the hell are you... What?
A lot of old apartment buildings actually had that, like in their closets. Like you could actually like close it from the outside, but they've changed it obviously because of safety concerns.
Yeah, a closet, maybe, but even then, yeah, safety. Come on.
But they've changed that now, yeah. But I'm just thinking, someone thought of this. Clearly was thinking back when it used to be like this. Like you can do this, obviously.
Somebody was just like, "Oh, she'll lock her in the room," and no one thought like, well, wait a second, lock her from the outside? How the hell does that work? Whatever, it's just wrestling. That's what happened. Oh, whatever, it's just wrestling. Meanwhile, I'm watching this shit. I have to watch this stuff, and I'm like, well, you're insulting my intelligence. Trying to tell me I don't know how rooms work? I've been in a room before. I've seen doors with locks on them. I understand how they work. You go to you go to the bathroom, the door locks on the inside. Not the outside.
Right.
It's a prison cell. Not how it works. You go into a room,
I don't know if
you want to lock the door, you lock it as you come in.
It's how it's supposed to be, yes.
It's how it always
is.
Did
you catch on the door that it said SmackDown Live?
No. Was that?
Like, I don't know why they still have...
Oh, because that's...
Well, that's the old thing.
Oh, yeah. So then Ronda and Raquel Rodriguez start a match, but Natty and Shayna show up and attack them, and the match goes to a no contest. Shotzi, of course, locked in the locker room. Aaliyah didn't think to go warn like Ronda and Raquel, hey, they're coming to get you. And then it's a tag team match, playa, because SmackDown. Ronda Rousey and Raquel Rodriguez beat Natty and Shayna. Ronda and Shayna faced off at one point. I like that they acknowledged that was a thing between them, that they're friends and they've never really faced off, and that they didn't actually do it here in this match. They saved it. Natty pulled Ronda out of the ring. Rodriguez hit her powerbomb finish on Shayna, and Rodriguez got the win for the team. It wasn't terrible, but the stuff with Shotzi was so egregiously stupid that it kind of ruined everything else here for me.
Did you catch that they changed the name of Rodriguez's finisher? Because last week Michael Cole got censored for what he called it.
Did he?
Because for whatever reason, I guess it sounded like in Spanish, like the way Michael Cole called it, it's like a F your mom slam. Apparently that's what Fox thought, and they bleeped Michael Cole.
The Chinga tu Madre slam?
Yeah, they thought apparently it sounded like he said that.
Chinga tu Madre slam! That's a pretty good slam.
They changed it up.
It's now the Pendejoplex.
I don't believe it is, but yes, they definitely fixed it, I think, this week. He wasn't censored, I know that for sure.
It's the Pinche Cabron Powerbomb. No. Jason Pete out of Mexico knows what I'm saying. The Pinche Cabron Powerbomb! The Pendejoplex! Is that what they changed it to? No?
I don't believe so, but
okay.
It got past the censor this week, at least.
Okay. Well, Los Lotharios would definitely understand what they're saying. Those guys speak Spanish, and they wrestled Jinder and Shanky tonight. Shanky just wants to dance, man. He just wants to dance. Let the Shank do his thing. Jinder is looking for Shanky backstage before the match because it's match time. He finds Shanky alone in a room dancing to the Jinder Mahal theme song. And Los Lotharios, we cut to the ring, and they're dancing really close to the ring announcer, Samantha something. And she seemed uncomfortable. It seemed like maybe they shouldn't have been dancing so close to her. She didn't like it. When the lady doesn't want you dancing upon her, maybe you shouldn't be dancing upon her. But hey, they're the Lotharios. So they're creepy and sexy men. And they won. They beat Jinder and Shanky. Shanky was beating up Garza outside the ring, which for some reason distracted Jinder, because Shanky was dancing and beating up Garza. And Jinder got distracted. He lost to Humberto. Jinder then blamed Shanky for the loss. Shanky kind of put his hand in Jinder's face. I don't know if that broke up the team or just kind of made Jinder go away. And then Shanky started dancing for the ring announcer because Shanky wants to dance. I mean, if any of these people mattered, I'd be mad about this. But they don't, so who cares? But holy shit, this was dumb. So much of this was dumb. I just love that Jinder's like, Shanky, we have a match. Where are you? And he finds him in a room alone dancing to the Jinder theme. He doesn't care. He just wants to groove, baby. He's looking to dance. What the fuck, man? This was so stupid. This is the dumbest shit on SmackDown. SmackDown is such a stupid show. This was the stupidest shit on the whole show. It's crazy.
Well, I think if you think about it, like the whole Kevin and Sammy thing was kind of stupid, but they're good at pulling off stupid. And this, on the other hand, not so good at pulling off stupid. But like I tweeted that maybe Shanky should look at like old Viscera tapes, because that might be a good direction for his character to do that kind of thing. Yeah, I think he'd get over that way.
What was that gimmick that Viscera was doing?
The world's largest love maker or something like that?
Yeah. Gunther and Ludwig beat Drew Gulak and Rick O'Shea tonight. Ludwig wrestles. I thought he was just good. Gunther's manager. Yeah, he's in great shape, that guy. The match was
good in the ring.
Yeah, the match was all right. Ricochet's still the Intercontinental Champion, by the way. I don't even know if they mentioned it tonight. Did he come out with the belt?
He came out with the title.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And the main event, they were pushing, hey, Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston have a mystery partner tonight for their match against Sheamus and Ridge and Butch. Mystery partner. Oh, who's it going to be? And they're like, yeah, it's not going to be Big E because he broke his neck. Don't get your hopes up. I was like, damn. When they said mystery partner and they kept hyping it up, I was like, maybe Big E has a miraculous recovery? I don't know. But they kept saying mystery partner and giving it a lot of hype, and I was getting like a little excited, but I thought, it's just going to be Drew McIntyre, isn't it? Because they think we care about Drew McIntyre. I was like, it's just going to be Drew McIntyre. And then lo and behold, it was Drew McIntyre. And I was super disappointed. I don't know who I was expecting, but I was just hoping for it to be not Drew McIntyre. Like anybody but Drew McIntyre, because I don't care to see him come out. Like him as the mystery opponent, it's like partner, whatever. Who cares? Oh, he's been gone for 2 weeks doing a promotional tour in the UK for that pay-per-view they have. So? He hasn't been gone for 2 months. He hasn't been gone for 2 years. Been gone for 2 weeks. I haven't missed him. Here he is, Drew McIntyre, and of course they get the win. Claymore on Ridge from Drew, and then Drew tagged Woods to climb to the top rope and hit his finisher for the 1-2-3. Felt like Drew was like, yeah, I won this match, but here, little buddy, you can have it. And it's kind of like, fuck you, Drew. Fuck you, man. You know? Just the attitude, the arrogance, like, oh, yeah, I won this for us, but here, you can have one, little buddy. He kind of hugged him like he's a little guy. Fuck out of here, Drew McIntyre. It sucked.
Well, it was important for New Day because it's New Day's feud, right? So it was important they got the win. However, like the Brutes should have actually won because they were going to be a team going forward. This is the first time them all teaming together and they lose. It's not exactly a good start for a team you put together that more than likely you're going to have for a while.
But I think they're really trying to push Drew as a potential challenger for Roman. I don't know if he beats Roman at all, but, you know, I think he's probably going to be his opponent at that stadium show in Wales. So they're trying to...
Castle.
Yeah, they're trying to build Drew up into a star. He's got to win matches like this, you know? Sheamus and Ridge and Butch, they're just a sideshow act. Drew is going to be a guy going up against Roman. You know, he matters.
Right.
These other guys don't matter as much, right? You know how it works.
Well, that's why that was the main event, because they're trying to make Drew into a bigger deal.
Did it work? I mean, when Drew came out,
very underwhelming.
Yeah, right? Like when Drew came out, you're like, oh yeah, whatever. And you kind of expected him to come out too, right? I thought it was going to be him.
Of course.
Because who else do they have? You know what I'm saying? I was like, man, who could this be? Oh, it's probably not going to be Big E. But if it's not Big E, they're hyping this quite a bit. They're hyping this more than they should if it's just Drew McIntyre. But then I was like, wait a second. They don't have anybody else. It's got to be Drew McIntyre. And then it was. Because that's all they have.
Yeah. It's too bad.
Tonight, teaming with New Day, it's Brock Lesnar. It's like, nah, that's not going to happen. You know? Would have been funny. Guys,
Brock wrestling on SmackDown?
Guys, you guys got Butch. Well, we brought in a guy for one night only. It's Hornswoggle. I would have preferred Hornswoggle.
Not the same kind of match, though.
Butch is kind of like their Hornswoggle. He lives under the ring. He escapes. He's rabid. He's the smaller one of the group. He's Hornswoggle. They should just bring in Hornswoggle to feud with Butch. It's a solid idea.
It's not bad.
Yeah,
it's
right?
Not bad.
I mean, honestly, it makes sense. New Day should have had Hornswoggle tonight instead of Drew. If they had Hornswoggle instead, and the match was Woods, Kofi, and Swoggle versus, oh man, how much would that piss Big E off too? If you know the history between Big E and Hornswoggle, Hornswoggle replacing Big E in the New Day, oh, he'd be so mad. He doesn't like Swoggle. I think he does like Swoggle, but he also doesn't like Swoggle. Google that story of Big E kicking Hornswoggle. Big E kicks Hornswoggle. New Day podcast tell a great story about that. They like Hornswoggle, but they don't like Hornswoggle. Honestly, I'm convincing myself more and more that Hornswoggle was the right call tonight. But they didn't make that call because they don't make the right call.
No, it's like you said. They got to build up Drew McIntyre, so that's why.
Yeah. But meanwhile, Kofi and Woods just look like, you know, little buddies to Drew. Insignificant other dudes.
Yep. That's the rule.
Sucks. It sucks, Oos. It sucks. I'll be back here Sunday night for the Double or Nothing post show.
At 1 o'clock?
I don't know. I'm going to have to nap Sunday afternoon to be ready for this, honestly. I'm not even kidding. I am going to need a nap Sunday afternoon so I could sit through Double or Nothing. And I'm going to need lots of coffee. And maybe some of that John Jones dust to keep me awake. I don't know. What's Tony Khan on? What does he have? I'll take whatever he's doing. However, Tony Khan is staying awake to watch these pay-per-views. I would like whatever he is doing.
Well,
All
just
right.
think they do like a post-media scrum afterwards. I mean, I don't think they sleep at all.
Well, there's only one way for you to sleep, to not sleep and stay alert, John. There's only one way to do that, as far as I know.
Well, do what you're saying, like pretty much just sleep in the afternoon.
Yeah, or you don't sleep at all and, you do some other things.
Sounds like pizza night.
Drugs, John. I'm talking about drugs. All right. That's it. Speaking of drugs, the show's over, and it's time for me to go. I will see you all. I'll see you all Sunday night after Double or Nothing. And we'll party. We'll have a good time. Hopefully. Maybe we'll see a new world champion. Maybe we won't. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see your mood at that time.
Yeah, we'll see how pissed I am. I hope I'm not too pissed. But, yeah, it's tough. Shout out to Anthony McDonough. Shout out to Digital Art Coding, Jason Pete. Shout out to Harold Schneider, members of the team. Thank you, Harold. You're the super chat leader tonight. Appreciate you. Thank you, everybody, supporting the channel. Join.ringsidereport.net if you have not already. Please leave a comment on the video. Just write something. Not in the chat, but on the comments. It helps the algorithm, and it gets more people watching our videos, and that is the goal, to get as many people here on the Ringside Report Network as possible. Nice comments. Bad comments about John are fine. Bad comments about me will be immediately deleted, and I will find you, and I'll be mad. If you say bad things about John, whatever, I'll tell John to suck it up. Stop being so sensitive.
People said bad comments to you last night, and you were okay with it.
What?
You didn't see the chat? People are saying you're wrong.
Oh, yeah. Well, you can say I'm wrong about Amber Heard and Johnny Depp all you want. By the way, Britt Baker wearing a Johnny Depp t-shirt tonight. Fucking shame on you, Britt Baker. I am way less of a fan of Britt Baker after seeing that Johnny Depp t-shirt. She's just confused.
That's why you picked Ruby Soho. Okay, now I get it.
No, it isn't at all. But I think a lot of people are confused about what's really going on there with Johnny Depp, but that's okay. I don't want to get into it because AJ is going to jump on the chat and he'll go crazy. He's a big Johnny Depp supporter, AJ. And that's why we were talking about that last night, because AJ's a big supporter of that weirdo pirate man. The guy did Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, and ever since then he thinks he's Hunter S. Thompson, but he dresses like a pirate. He's a fucking weirdo. And I think probably abusive, but, who knows? Allegedly, whatever. Cool.
I think Fred said the best thing. Say no to drugs. Say no to drugs.
Yeah, Fred is right. Say no to drugs unless they were grown in the ground and you could pick them and dry them and smoke them. I wouldn't even call those drugs. I'd call those medicinal herbs. I'm talking about weed, which isn't even really a drug in Canada. It's legal across the board, so it's fine. It's all fine in Canada.
As long as the government controls it.
Yeah. Well, whatever. You can get around that, too. You can grow your own, and then you're good. All right. Thank you. Grow your own. Legalize weed everywhere forever. We love you. I'll see you after Double or Nothing on Sunday night with Big Johnny and the crew right here on the Ringside Report Network.
Please join in and give your support to Ringside Report Network. We've been providing expert coverage and commentary on both pro wrestling and MMA for over 15 years. Go to ringsidereport.net/support to find out more ways to support the channel.